I'm Hannah Brooks, 24, fresh out of college in Savannah, Georgia, where the air smells of magnolias and marsh salt. At my graduation dinner, surrounded by clinking glasses and the hum of a riverside restaurant, my father raised his glass with a familiar smirk. Congrats, Hannah, but it's time to pay rent or pack your bags. My mother's eyes stayed on her plate, silent as always. They didn't know I'd been planning for months, quietly building a nest egg for a secret I'd kept even from them, a small sewing studio I'd inherited from my great-aunt. The shock on their faces the next day, when I walked away, was worth every late-night stitch I'd sewn to secure my future. Growing up in a brick ranch house on Savannah's outskirts, life felt like a postcard at first. The front yard bloomed with azaleas, their sweet scent drifting through open windows. My father, James, managed a shipping warehouse, his boots thumping on our oak floors. My mother, Ellen, taught piano lessons, her music filling evenings with soft notes. My younger sister, Chloe, 3 years my junior, was the family's darling, her laughter bright as the Spanish moss dangling outside. We had barbecues, church picnics, and summer trips to Tybee Island's beaches. But at 14, the postcard faded. Dad's company downsized, cutting his hours. His pride stung. He took odd jobs, delivery, repairs. But money tightened. Mom's lessons dwindled as families cut extras. I'd overhear their hushed arguments, the clink of dishes masking tension as bills stacked on the counter. By 15, I knew I had to step up. I started babysitting, the jingle of quarters from neighborhood kids my first taste of earning. My $80 checks went to Mom for groceries, her tired smile my reward. "You're a blessing, Hannah," she'd say. But soon it wasn't a choice. Dad's gaze would land on me when the gas bill arrived. "Hannah, can you cover this, just till I'm back on my feet?" I didn't mind at first, picking up more babysitting and a weekend job at a fabric store, its shelves of cotton and silk a comfort. I'd work till 9 p.m., the hum of sewing machines lingering in my ears, then study by lamplight, keeping my grades at a solid B+. But Chloe? She got new dance shoes while I patched my sneakers. "She's young, let her shine," Mom would say when I mentioned the unfairness. I swallowed my frustration, sewing late into the night to relax, stitching quilts from scraps like Great Aunt Clara taught me. What I didn't know then was Dad's new habit: online sports betting. He'd sit in his recliner, phone glowing, chasing one big win to fix everything. Mom knew, but stayed quiet, her silence a heavy blanket. My contributions, $200 for utilities, $150 for groceries, became expected, no longer help, but duty. By my senior year, I was paying $400 a month toward household bills, plus my own phone and school fees. Chloe, meanwhile, got a new phone for her 15th birthday, funded by family savings. My savings. "You're so responsible, Hannah," Dad would say. But it felt like a chain, not praise. College was my escape plan. I earned a partial scholarship to Savannah State University for fashion design, my passion since Clara's sewing lessons. Her downtown studio, Clara's Stitches, was left to me when she passed at 16, a secret I guarded. I rented it out, the $10,000 yearly income my lifeline, tucked into a hidden account. Dad thought college was fancy dreams, pushing me toward a stable major. I stuck with design, working nights at a diner, the smell of grease clinging to my hair, to cover what my scholarship didn't. College was grueling. I'd wake at 5 a.m. sketching designs over instant coffee, then race to classes, pattern making, textiles, before my diner shift. Weekends meant driving home, sewing for clients, and sending $300 to Mom for emergencies. Friends partied, I declined, citing work. My roommate, Maya, noticed. "Hannah, why are you bankrolling your family? Chloe's old enough to chip in." Her words stung because they were true. I'd sent $500 for a car repair the same week Chloe posted about a new dance costume. Maya pushed me to open a secret savings account, diverting 25% of my earnings, $60 a week, from my design gigs and diner tips. It felt rebellious, stitching a future for myself. In my junior year, I met Professor Lila Grant, a fashion instructor who saw my talent. "Your quilted jackets could sell, Hannah," she said. her voice warm as chamomile tea. She connected me with a local boutique where my designs started earning $200 a month. I funneled it to my secret account, dreaming of reopening Clara's Stitches. At 22, I landed an internship at Coastal Threads, a Savannah design firm. My senior year, they offered me a full-time role, $55,000 a year. With Lila's guidance, I researched home businesses, eyeing Clara's studio as my future. Its renter left, and I planned to move in post-graduation using my savings, $12,000, and a small business loan to start a custom sewing line. I kept it secret, fearing Dad's demands. 6 months before graduation, I secured a loan, my hands shaking as I signed. The studio, with its oak floors and wide windows, felt like Clara's hug. I'd visit alone, sketching designs under its skylight, the smell of old thread grounding me. Graduation loomed, and with it, the moment to break free. Graduation day sparkled, Savannah's oaks draped in spring green. In my cap and gown, I scanned the crowd, Mom waving, Dad distracted, Chloe texting. Hannah Brooks, Bachelor of Fine Arts, magna cum laude, the dean called. I crossed the stage, diploma in hand, heart pounding with pride. This was mine. At dinner, we sat at River House, the Savannah River glinting outside. Dad ordered a $60 steak, Mom a lobster tail, Chloe shrimp scampi. I chose a $12 salad, knowing I'd pay. Over dessert, Dad raised his glass. To Hannah, our responsible girl. But now it's time to step up. $700 a month rent, plus utilities, or you're out. Chloe giggled. Mom stared at her plate. My fork froze. I've paid bills since I was 15, I said, voice steady. Electric, groceries, Chloe's dance fees. Dad waved me off. That was helping. Now you'll have a real job. 700's fair. Anger surged. I'd given $28,000 over 8 years, tracked in a notebook Lila helped me keep. I'll think about it, I said, sliding my card to cover the $165 bill, Chloe's smirk burning. That night in my childhood bedroom, the hum of crickets outside, I couldn't sleep. Dad's entitlement, Mom's silence, Chloe's indifference replayed. Lila's words echoed, "You can't save them if you're sinking." I'd saved enough to start my business, my studio ready. At dawn, I packed 2 duffels of clothes, a box of sketchbooks, Clara's old sewing kit. Mom was in the kitchen, the coffee pot hissing. "Hannah, you're up early," she said, startled as I set a bag by the door. "I'm moving out," I said. Her cup trembled. "Because of your father? He didn't mean now." "It's not just last night. It's time." Dad shuffled in, robe askew. "What's this?" "Hannah's leaving," Mom whispered. His eyes narrowed at my bags. "Over one conversation? That's dramatic." "It's been 8 years," I said, carrying my sketchbooks downstairs. "I've paid your bills while Chloe got new phones. I'm done." "Where'll you go?" Dad snapped. "You can't afford your own place." "I have a place," I said, "and a job. Movers arrive at 8. Chloe, awake now, watched silently. Mom's eyes teared. "This is so sudden." "Not for me," I said. "I've planned this." Dad's voice rose. "You'll still send money for bills, right?" "No," I said, the word freeing. "You have jobs. Chloe can work. It's your turn." The movers arrived, loading my things in 20 minutes. Mom stood by the stairs, small and lost. "I didn't realize how little you own," she said. I hugged her, feeling her tremble. Dad argued with the movers about parking. "I'll call in a few days," I told him, handing him an envelope. "My address and a list of what I've paid since I was 15. His jaw tightened, but he took it. I drove to Clara's Stitches, my heart racing. The studio's brick facade glowed in the morning sun, its sign faded but proud. Inside, the smell of wood polish and thread welcomed me. I'd ordered a bed, a desk, and a sewing table, bare bones, but mine. The movers, Sam and Luis, unloaded quickly. "Small hall," Sam said. "Fresh start," I replied. After they left, I stood in the quiet, sunlight streaming through the skylight. This was freedom. A knock broke my thoughts. Mrs. Tate, the bookstore owner next door, held a peach pie. "Welcome, neighbor," she said, her smile warm as Savannah summers. "I'm Hannah," I said, taking the pie, its sweet aroma grounding me. "This is my studio. I'm starting a sewing business." "Like Clara," she exclaimed. "This street's lucky to have you." Her kindness eased my nerves. That afternoon, I unpacked, arranging my sewing machine and sketches. The studio's loft would be my bedroom, the main floor my workspace. By evening, my bed was made, desk set, machine humming. I sewed a simple tote, the needle's rhythm calming. My phone buzzed, texts from Mom. "Are you okay? Dad? Electric's due? 200? Chloe. Dad's mad. What did you do?" I replied only to Mom. "Settled. I'll call soon." Ignoring Dad was hard, years of guilt tugging, but Lila's voice steadied me. "Your loyalty is to yourself first." Monday, I started at Coastal Threads, the office buzzing with fabric swatches and coffee. My role, design assistant, felt like a dream, my sketches praised. By Wednesday, Dad's texts escalated. "Power's off. Chloe's laptop's dead." Mom called, voice shaky. "Hannah, the electric's cut. Chloe's got schoolwork." "I've paid for 8 years," I said. "Dad needs to budget. You both work." "I know," she whispered. "I let this happen." Her admission softened me, but I held firm. "I can't pay anymore." Thursday, my family appeared at my studio. Dad's face red, Mom nervous, Chloe sullen. "This is your place?" Dad demanded, eyeing my sewing table. "You own it?" "Yes," I said, blocking the door. "Great Aunt Clara's studio. I've saved for it." "Saved?" he scoffed. "You gave us everything." "Not everything," I said. "I kept some for me." Mom sat on my stool, hands clasped. Chloe poked at a fabric bolt. "How'd you afford this?" Dad asked. "Savings, a loan, my job," I said. "I've given you $28,000 since I was 15. Mom gasped. Dad paled. I opened my laptop, showing Lila's spreadsheet. Every payment. $28,342 total. "This is what I've done," I said. "While Dad bet on sports, Mom stayed quiet and Chloe got new shoes." Dad bristled. "Betting? That's nonsense." "I've seen your betting apps," I said. "The loans you never repaid." Mom sobbed. I thought he'd stop. Chloe stared at Dad. "Is that why we're broke?" "You're exaggerating," Dad said, but his voice faltered. "Your sister's abandoning us." "I'm not," I said. "I'm offering a choice. Option 1, I help you budget, Dad gets help for betting, Mom steps up, Chloe works part-time. We rebuild honestly. Option 2, you manage without me." Silence fell. Mrs. Tate glanced over from her shop, watering plants, a quiet ally. "Option 1, Chloe said suddenly. "I'll get a job." Mom nodded. "Me too. I'm sorry, Hannah." Dad's jaw tightened. "You own this outright?" "Yes," I said. "No mortgage." He exhaled. "We could lose our house. I'll try option 1. "But you need help for betting," I said. He nodded, defeated. They left, the weight of truth heavy. I paid for one night at a motel, my final gesture. 3 months later, my studio was home. Walls painted sage, fabric racks bright with color. Coastal Threads promoted me to junior designer, my jacket selling out. Dad joined Gamblers Anonymous, his first meeting tearful but honest. Mom took a full-time teaching job, her confidence growing. Chloe worked at a cafe, her earnings helping. They kept their house, budgeting tightly. I dated Liam, a barista who respected my boundaries, our coffee dates light and hopeful. Maya visited, proud of my space. "You did it," she said, hugging me. Sunday dinners at my studio became our new ritual, laughter replacing tension. Dad's "I'm proud, Hannah" over peach cobbler healed old wounds. I'd learned to value myself, set boundaries, and stitch a life from Clara's legacy. A dream born from betrayal, now thriving in Savannah's light.